Hey guys, my name is Chantel. Welcome back to my channel and thanks for hanging out with me today. So today we are going to talk about Sasaki and Miyano episode 3, and I'm sorry this is coming out really late on my YouTube channel. I've just been busy, but I really want to talk about this episode because some of my favorite moments from the manga got animated and I was just so happy, punching the air, just oh my gosh, it was so cute. So let's start off from the beginning. So this episode basically starts off with Sasaki saying how he was supposed to study with Hirano, but he was running late. So he asks Miyano to hang out with him. And while they're hanging out and drinking their cocoa, Sasaki burns his tongue, which then leads to Miyano asking, hey, do you have a cat tongue? Because I saw this thing on TV and they said that people that have cat tongues are really clumsy, and it made me think, if they were clumsy kissers too, which then leads to Sasaki teasing him and being like, I don't know, you want to try it out? And it takes Miyano like a minute to realize like how that sounded, and he was like, oh no, I am not looking for that, like you got the wrong idea. And it's so funny because he's right, because when I first read it in the manga, I didn't think much about it until Sasaki said something and I was like, oh, he's right, that does sound kind of like an invitation. And it's just so funny just seeing Miyano's reaction and how he scoots away. But anyways, you guys, moving on to Miyano, it's funny because he actually starts thinking about that situation a lot and in class, and he just keeps thinking like, I really didn't mean it, but looking out from an outsider's perspective, he realizes how that sounded, and this actually leads him to wonder once again, is Sasaki being serious or is he just joking around? That is one of the questions that he keeps asking himself, because there's been a lot of instances like this and Miyano just can't help but wonder, is he serious? And I'm just like, Miyano, you're almost there, like just take a hit, man. But at the same time, I feel like Miyano really is relatable in this sense, because whenever someone has a crush on us or likes us, we really don't see it until that person actually tells us straight to our face, right? At least that's how it's been with me. And it just kind of reminds me of like my middle school, high school days, where like these boys' friends they would tell me, like, they're basically the guys that liked me, their friends would tell me like, oh, he likes you, blah blah. And I thought they were joking, and I was just like, yeah, right, that's funny. I didn't think they were being serious, until like months later they actually confess, and I'm like, oh, they weren't kidding then. But in Miyano's instance, like, it is kind of hard to tell. Like, if I was in his situation, like, it would be hard to tell if Sasaki was joking around or being serious, especially since Sasaki loves to tease Miyano a little bit and joke around with him. And, I would also be questioning, like, is he serious or is he joking around? But anyway, let's move on to the next thing that I wanted to talk about, which is when Miyano tries to give the manga volume to Sasaki. So he forgot to give him, the second volume of the manga that he lent him, and he really wanted him to read it together, so he goes and looks for Sasaki, and he does find him, but before he goes into the classroom and asks for him, he overhears one of his classmates ask why he's reading BL, and how isn't it weird because it's like two guys, and just basically kind of looking down on it, and you just hear Sasaki kind of trying to defend it and trying to, get him to see his point of view. And he's like, no, like, there's some really good ones out there. And how he doesn't really see a problem with it. And the one thing that Sasaki says that made Miyano's heart just, like, soar was how Sasaki says, BL is what made the story possible, and he doesn't see a problem with it. And like, Miyano is just so blown away by his reaction, because the whole time he's hearing this, he's like freaking out. He's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. Like, his classmates are probably gonna tease him and make fun of him and like say mean things, or who knows what they're gonna say now. And he's like freaking out, and he wants to help Sasaki, but he doesn't know what to say. So hearing Sasaki say this really, really just made an impact on Miyano, and basically he just runs away and says like how cool Sasaki really was. And he starts to realize, ever since day one, he's always been this cool. And I'm just like, oh, Miyano, you're so adorable. Just seeing like his face, oh, like, it's so precious, you guys. I can't. Which then actually leads into the next thing that I want to talk about with Miyano, and that's he still hasn't given the manga volume to Sasaki, and he's still like trying to figure out like, oh, like how should I give it to him? Should I even give it to him now? Like, what if his classmates say more things about him? Like, what do I do? And at the right time, Sasaki comes in and he, starts, just being his usual self with Miyano. And while he's talking to Miyano, Miyano starts thinking about the whole cat tongue situation again, which leads Sasaki to be a little bit closer to his face. And he's like, hey, are you alright? Which causes both of them to get really nervous and shy around each other. And I think it was so cute. Like, both of them are just so adorable. Like, you guys, I can't. It then leads to Sasaki breaking the ice, and he's like, hey, like, I remember you saying how you wanted me to read this other volume where it was like a series or something like that. Like, was that first volume it, or is there more? And so, Miyano ends up giving him the second volume. And I think it's so precious because when Sasaki leaves, like, this whole time Miyano was like really cold and he was curled up, but after that whole conversation and interaction with Sasaki, he warmed up, and it was, you guys, it was just so cute. Like, I can't. Like, these two boys are just so precious, and I will not get tired of saying that. Like, they're just so cute. And moving on to one of my favorite parts from the manga and in the anime now is White Day. So White Day has finally arrived, and this whole time Miyano has a gift to give Sasaki, and he keeps wondering like how he should give it to him, or if he should even give him a gift. And it's so funny because beforehand he tries to look at his BL manga for an answer, and he's just like, wait, no, I shouldn't even be looking at BL for an answer. So he's contemplating whether or not like this is okay, like how should he go about it. Like, he doesn't really know what to do, but at the end of the day he does get the courage to give him his White Day gift. He's just like, you know what, let me do it, let's go. And he goes and finds Sasaki, and they move to a more quiet area, and it's just the two of them. And, Sasaki has no idea what Miyano is about to give him. And he's just like, oh, I haven't read the manga, like, what's up? Like, is there something wrong? And Miyano's like, no, like, I actually wanted to give you this. And he gives him the gift. And, Sasaki is just speechless, and he doesn't know how to respond or how to act. And Miyano's like, hello? Which I think is so precious of Sasaki's reaction. Like, it is so cute and adorable because, like, he did not see this coming. He was not expecting this at all. And I'm pretty sure he feels like, for me personally, you guys, as like someone looking at this and when I was reading it, like, it made the situation from Valentine's like worth it. Like, just this moment was worth it. Like, he basically, like, Miyano made it up to him, Does that make sense? But like, Miyano doesn't know that. And while Sasaki accepts the gift, he's like, hold up a second, let me go get something for you too. And he like runs off so quick, and I love how like the sound and everything for this was just so nicely done. And you just hear how Sasaki runs so quick, and then he just enters the classroom, and like he just gets down on the floor. It just, oh my gosh, you guys, like, oh, this had me screaming, punching the air out of wholesomeness. Like, it was so cute. Just his face, you guys, his face. Like, that is a man that is in love with somebody. And just, oh, you guys, it's so cute. But it also just makes you, feel and remind you of those times where the person that you like gave you something, and it just, like, we all know that feeling, and it's such a great feeling, and it's just so precious to see Sasaki react this way. It's so cute, you guys. Like, I can't get over it. I can't. So, moving on from that, it's now like the closing ceremony, and Miyano and his friends, mostly Miyano, starts to realize that Sasaki will be graduating next year and that he only has a year with him. And that kind of like sets the tone of everything a little bit heavy, and it just made me really sad when I heard Miyano say this and in the manga. And I was just like, oh dang, like that's kind of sad because Miyano doesn't have a lot of time left, and I'm pretty sure Miyano is like sad about that, especially considering how close, Sasaki and Miyano have gotten within the past year. And it just also makes us, the audience, realize like, holy crap, Sasaki only has a year to confess and like say something to Miyano. If and when he'll say something to Miyano, you know? And during the closing ceremonies, well, I should say after, Miyano and his friend meet up with Hirano. Like they see him and Hirano's hair is black for the closing ceremony so he wouldn't get in trouble. And Miyano is just freaking out over it. He's like taking pictures and he's just like, oh my gosh, thank you. Like, it's so funny. And, you know, he is like, hey, you guys want to touch my hair? Like, you know, it's super damaged, you know, because they start asking him about his hair. He's like, hey, like, isn't your hair damaged from having to dye it blonde back to black and then back to blonde? And he's like, yeah, he like, go ahead and touch my hair so you guys can see. And Miyano asks, like, hey, did your roommate touch your hair? And Hirano's like, yeah, he was the one who told me it was damaged. And I love how Miyano was like, thank you so much. Just like Miyano. Oh my gosh, like he's so funny with these types of like interactions when it comes to Hirano. Like it's so funny. Like he is like really invested in Hirano and his roommate's relationship, and I think it's so funny. Which then we actually get to meet a new character, which is Osogara. Hopefully I pronounced his name right, but he basically was the one who was making those comments to Sasaki, and Miyano instantly realizes that. He's like, wait, was he the guy that I heard last time talking to Sasaki-senpai? And he starts to get a little bit nervous. He's just like, you know, wondering what he should do. And it kind of puts a little bit of a damper on the mood. And Osogara, like, he knew of Miyano because of Sasaki. And, you know, Sasaki does mention, like, oh, like, he saw me put the BL away. And Sasaki, being the best boy that he is, he's like, hey, like, don't take this out on him just because your girlfriend likes delinquent ukes. And I love this part because you can just see Miyano's little hair stick up and his friend's like, oh, he's back. I'm just like, this is so cute. Like Miyano's like interest just peaked. He's like, you said what? Like, it's so cute, you guys. And this makes Osogara wonder. He's like, you know, I found a BL in my girlfriend's room and now I can't help but wonder if my girlfriend wanted me to be with that guy this whole time. And he's just like having a whole mental breakdown over this. And everyone's just like, okay, calm down. It's not that big of a deal. And then that's when he's like, you know, Sasaki, you need to be careful of Miyano. Like, he's probably treating you as like BL material. And Sasaki's like, do you? And Miyano's like, actually, no, I've never seen you that way. And I love how Hirano comments. He's like, no. You need to treat him the same way that you do with me. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Like, it was so funny. Like, I was laughing so hard. Which, funny enough, leads to Miyano wonder, like, hey, you know, I really haven't thought of him like that. Why is that? So he starts to question that. And then there's me. I'm like, it's because you like him, Miyano. Like, he just doesn't know it yet, you know? And this leads to one of my favorite parts in the anime and in the manga, and one of the things I was looking forward to the manga the most. And I wasn't sure if we were going to see it this episode or next week's episode, so to see it at the end of the episode was everything, you guys. So Miyano ends up falling asleep in the train, and Sasaki ends up telling Miyano that he likes him, but we the audience don't know that because they like, it's just completely silent, and when we just see Miyano wake up. And after that, Sasaki's like, hey, you're awake, I have to go now, like, see you next time. And Miyano is like, holy smokes, what do I do? What do I do? Why would he say something like that when I'm asleep? Like, what does that mean? And that's when the anime reveals, like, what Sasaki had said. And Sasaki had said, I like you, and when Miyano was asleep. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, you guys, this just made me scream so hard. Like, I was just like, oh my gosh, every time I had to replay that scene over and over and over, and each time I was just screaming and just feeling giddy, kicking and screaming. Like, it was so cute. But now Miyano knows of Sasaki's feelings. Like, this confession was everything. And now it leads to the question of, what is Miyano going to do moving on forward? Because it's obvious that Miyano wasn't supposed to hear this, but what is he gonna do now? And I know what's gonna happen, but I'm obviously not gonna spoil that for you guys. But yeah, like, I'm excited to see what happens next. in the anime and see what they animate from the manga and just see how it goes. Like, I'm excited. I am so excited because I will never stop saying this, you guys. The anime just enhances the manga. Like, it is so good and it is such a good adaptation, and it makes me so happy because I love this series so much and it's one of my favorite series ever, and I'm so happy so many people are loving it. And it's so cute, you guys. I love these two characters so much, and I can't wait to see more of them moving forward. So yeah, that is all I have to say for this week's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing my overall thoughts and just, me being all excited about this. And yeah, so I hope you guys are staying safe and healthy out there, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!